Leading advocates for corporate social responsibility and child rights will meet today at the CEO's Forum hosted by CSR Children. CNBC Africa spoke to Tony Olakampo, CEO of the CSR Children, to discuss private sector solutions for youth unemployment. Take a look.
What we're really focusing on is finding sustainable solutions. Youth unemployment has been discussed on this our geographical landscape in Nigeria over and over again, but I just feel that we haven't really found any sustainable solutions. And with the advent of the new Sustainable Development Goals launched by the UN a couple of weeks ago, I think it's time we took some serious action to see what can we do over the next 15 years to see a real reduction in the youth unemployment rates in Nigeria.
And what is the message that you hope to pass across at this event? And I believe it's holding this Wednesday, October 7th, right?
Yes, it is. The message we're trying to pass on to the business leaders and CEOs in attendance is that they have a huge responsibility to play in getting our youth employed, in ensuring that the young people in Nigeria have decent work and are supported in being able to feed their families. I know government has a role to play, and we are going to emphasize that, but we really want to bring to the forefront the role and the responsibility of the private sector. And that should help them formulate their policies and strategies over the next few years as to what they're going to do in terms of corporate social responsibility and generally driving the economy.
And this is your third annual CEO Forum, so how will this one differ from the two that you had in the past?
Significant difference this year is that we have more people of influence actually at the event. Our first CEO Forum, which was in 2013, which was supported by the Lagos State government, we did find that we had more managers as opposed to the CEOs and the heads of the organizations attending. We had a few CEOs, and the reason why we want to target CEOs is because they have influence, they make decisions. A manager can come and attend and enjoy the dialogue, but they cannot actually make the decision. So for us to have impact, it's important that the message is delivered to the chief executive officers who are actually, at the event, because they can then go back and implement what we have discussed.
Talk to us about CSR Children. I mean, we know that it's a campaign and advocacy organization, so tell us some of the work that you've done so far.
Well, CSR Children was set up with the prime aim to engage the private sector to do more for children's rights. We found that when you mention the word children to CEOs, they either shoved the whole agenda to their foundations or to a lesser manager. They felt that it wasn't their business. And so the whole prime objective of CSR Children is to say to CEOs, children are your business. They are your future consumers, they're your future employees. And we've had to sort of restructure the way we deliver what we're doing to make it more attractive to chief executive officers and business leaders, and trying to drive the message through that it's for their economic benefit to support the development of children. When we're talking about children, we're looking at the age group between 0 to 18 years. The World Bank has moved that age limit to 24 when we're looking at youth unemployment. So it is something that they are now waking up to. A lot of the companies and the CEOs are saying, okay, we're not talking about 5-year-olds and 6-year-olds. We're talking about, high school students. We're talking about university graduates. So that is really what has changed significantly over the last couple of years. We're getting more support. We're getting more interest in what we're doing. And I think it's to do with the way we've kind of repackaged the focus of our organization.
And I believe a key area of focus for you is education of the girl child. Is that correct?
One of the key focuses is education, which will include the education of the girl child. Another one of our focuses is actually the child's right to play, one of my favorite rights of a child. And that also includes sports development. I think that's going to be a huge focus for us next year with the, is it the Olympics next year, isn't it? Yes. So the girl child, obviously education, but education covers so many things. It also covers skills and training, vocational training. So the education banner is huge. It also covers computer education as well. So the girl child is definitely a very strong focal point for us.
Now, you made a lot of comments in the past in the press about Boko Haram and Nigeria's missing schoolgirls. Is this something that your foundation is still working to raise awareness about? Obviously, you know, we're over 500 days into this issue.
Oh yes, I was interviewed by CNN last year in May, and at the time, the point I raised was that our government needed assistance from international actors, and as you can see, our present President Buhari is doing just that. In terms of raising awareness, what we've been advocating for is some kind of monument for them, which would be a focal point for prayers, a focal point for people to gather and pray and just build up hope for their return. But I must say people have mistaken our advocacy for a monument to mean that we think they're not coming back, but it's quite the opposite. I mean, if you drive around the Fallamore roundabout, you do have there those cardboard placards with the girls' pictures on it, and that's great. But it does serve as a reminder. It'd be nice to have something more permanent and something more beautiful for the girls, be it in Lagos or being in Abuja. People can drive there. People can just go there and pray. It doesn't have to be on Saturdays. It can be any time. You're driving past, you see the monument. You just want to, drop a flower or say a prayer. So that's what we have been advocating for, that a monument be established by the government for the girls as a symbol of hope and prayers.
You mentioned to me earlier that a game changer for your organization is the fact that we now have a credible government in power. So highlight on that point for us.
Yes. One of the things that we do once we have these business leaders forums is that we prepare a very robust report which will articulate everything that was discussed. The Q&As, the speeches, everything is in that report. And I mean, I feel confident now because from what we have learned, the Vice President, youth unemployment is very much the top of his agenda. And there's that confidence knowing that somebody cares and somebody is ready, willing and able to act on recommendations that we will put forward. So we will be in touch with the Vice Presidency's office, before and after the forum, and will continually liaise with them to ensure that the voices at the forum are being heard and recommendations are put forward.
And I hear that your organization has partnered with Microsoft here in Nigeria to advance science education for girls. Tell us more about that initiative.
That's a really big one. The International Day of the Girl Child is coming up October 11th, I believe it is. And we were thinking of what we could do in terms of a program to celebrate the event. And we were looking at maybe education, as you know, and we're looking at confidence building. And we just felt that science education was something that was a global problem, not just in Nigeria. And we felt that this was a topic that needed attention. Luckily for us, Microsoft had made a commitment, global commitment, to support the advancement of science subjects for girls. And so it was a very kind of quick and wonderful partnership that happened. But it's a huge problem. I think we have very few female mathematics lecturers in Nigeria. I think you can count them on one hand. and there are a lot of girls who are interested. So we want to find out what is the academic challenge. That's the first thing we want to find out. Why aren't girls getting involved in science subjects at an early age? And what are the interventions that the private sector are adopting to actually alleviate this situation? So Microsoft, again, are one. Also Intel are also very strong in that area. So we are sort of looking for those partners to actually help us carry on this advocacy.
And I heard that you were present at the UN General Assembly in New York. That must have been a very interesting experience for you. Tell us about it.
Oh, yes. Yes, I was very fortunate to be one of the lucky few to attend the UN General Assembly annual meeting a couple of weeks now. It was a very historic event. The buzz, the excitement, everybody kind of was there feeling that they were part of history, a part of history in the making. And we left there with a lot of purpose, that look, we have to go back and carry this message on. And that's really what our forum is doing, because not everybody was privy to the presidential lunch which I attended, which was talking about Goal 9 of the Sustainable Development Goals.
That was Toyin Olakankwo, CEO of CSR Children, talking about youth unemployment in the country.